spoke with Turki Alalshikh, and then he came to us and he said, I will shake your hand only after the third fight, and I congratulate you.
That you want?
But it doesn't matter. Now I wanna rest. I wanna heal my body, and then I will wait offer. Doesn't matter what.
He deserves it, and we want to see the third.
We'll see the third fight now.
Yeah.
Do you think Dmitry Bivol had done enough tonight?
Yeah. If Artur accepts, we will have the third.
Callum's got a lot of options. He'll be out probably September time.
And can we see the trilogy between Beterbiev and Bivol?
Yes, you'll see that. You'll probably November. Cool.
Dmitry Bivol has shockingly revealed that a trilogy with Artur Beterbiev is in the works, following ongoing conversations with Turki Alalshikh. Turkey's desire to go for a third fight is nothing new. Right after his win over Artur Beterbiev in their second bout, Bivol made it clear that he had been approached for the third showdown. He reflected on the moments following the fight and shared insights into the conversation he had with Beterbiev, hinting that he was tempted to go for it.
I came to Artur, I told him, Artur, I respect you so much, you should know it. When I came to national team, I was looking after you, I was learning something, I respect you. And I shake his hand, yeah. And he said, yes, it's sport, congratulations. And then after interview, he came again, but we didn't shake hand. He said, we will have third fight.
Did you have a third fight?
Oh, why not? Why not?
Dmitry also dismissed any claims that his business with Artur Beterbiev is unfinished. He firmly stated that their chapter is closed, and that his focus is now solely on collecting more titles. Bivol revealed that his goal is to become the undisputed champion, and he's fully committed to chasing the remaining belts to achieve that status.
Now business is finished, we need to make new collection bands, okay? Undisputed, yeah?
On the other hand, Artur Beterbiev acknowledged that the second fight was better than the first, and expressed his satisfaction with how it played out. Speaking about the potential trilogy, he admitted that he initially wasn't interested in a second fight. However, with negotiations now underway and global interest growing, he confirmed that he is open to the idea of a third bout.
I don't know, I think this fight better than first fight, but we'll see. It's my time to come back.
When you come back, we saw Turki Alalshikh come up to you right after, put 3 fingers in the air, saying third fight. Is that what you want? A rubber match with Dmitry Bivol?
Actually, I don't want second fight too. I mean, it's not my choice, but no problem. We're gonna do third fight.
On the other hand, Spencer Farron has insisted that there is still unfinished business between Beterbiev and Bivol, and a trilogy fight is a must. He shared his analysis of their previous bouts, highlighting both the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter. Farron emphasized that a third fight would be the perfect way to settle the rivalry once and for all.
That would be an absolute tremendous contest, but there's unfinished business here.
Listen, let's just have the trilogy. We can't mess about with anything else.
Thank you very much. Right? And they need to have that next. So you saw Turki Alalshikh, His Excellency, he come up and he did the 3 fingers. Let's have it, yeah. let's have it. I do feel it for Beterbiev, because the things that he didn't do in the last fight, he did in the first. He started really fast, right? And he was pressing. But you know what, fair play to Bivol, because his lateral movement was excellent. And the thing about it is this, just like when people were saying, he must have watched the April 87 fight with Sugar Ray Leonard, how Leonard dealt with Hagler, and he did exactly the same thing again in this fight here. But he threw more flurries in this fight. So you know what? It is what it is.
You know, well, let's just see this trilogy. Look, boys, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
What a fight.
Spencer also pointed out that the fight had its flaws, calling the result a form of poetic injustice. He argued that the bout didn't truly showcase the best of both fighters, noting that only Dmitry Bivol's strengths were clearly visible throughout.
And it's kind of weird, because most of the people were coming to me, like my good man here, and he was saying to me, like, how he scored it. But I tell you, the thing is this, yeah? Okay, then Bivol got it. There's a lost art in boxing, that's footwork, and Bivol demonstrated that. But the major thing was this, when on the highlights, yeah, and I'm so happy that Richie Woodall, former world champion, right, turned around and said the same thing. How comes they were, like, Beterbiev would win like 2.5 minutes of a round, and Bivol throw a flurry, but it's the flurries that they were showing on the highlights, right? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And I didn't like that. But I'm not saying the right man won, but it's kind of poetic justice, right?
Yeah.
similar to when Marco Antonio Barrera and Morales fought each other.
Reflecting on the bout, Duke McKenzie weighed in, stating that the second fight between Bivol and Beterbiev actually surpassed their first encounter. He praised the rematch as a true showcase of both fighters' skills, highlighting the high level of technique and intensity displayed by each.
And, you know, I wasn't disappointed with yesterday. I thought yesterday's main event for me exceeded, it exceeded their first fight, Bivol and Beterbiev. I thought that, normally when you get two guys fighting in a really good fight and then you get the return, it doesn't really happen for whatever reason. But this return fight surpassed the first fight. This return fight, what I love about boxing, when you get two guys of this caliber, when they come head to head and they leave every ounce of energy in that ring and they show every skill, every form of skill possible, and you saw everything in that fight.
Meanwhile, Turki Alalshikh also shared his reaction to the fight, praising the bout and acknowledging its high quality. He revealed that plans for a trilogy are already in motion, and noted that if Beterbiev accepts the offer that has been sent to him, the third fight will happen very soon.
What did you think?
He deserved it, and we want to see the third.
We'll see the third fight now.
Yeah.
Do you think Dmitry Bivol has done enough tonight?
Yeah, if Artur accepts, we will have the third.
Confirming that Turki Alalshikh is working on a deal with Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol also shared his thoughts. He recalled having a respectful interaction with Beterbiev after their fight, but noted an interesting moment. After a meeting with Turki, Beterbiev returned and chose not to shake his hand, saying he would do so in their third fight.
And I came to him after the fight directly in the ring, and I told him I respect him and everything, and I shake his hand. And after this, I think he spoke with Turki Alalshikh, and then he came to us and he said, I will shake your hand only after the third fight, and I congratulate you.
With a trilogy fight deal in the works, Dmitry Bivol was asked whether he would prefer to face Artur Beterbiev again or take on David Benavidez. He responded by saying he plans to rest and recover first and will consider all offers afterward. When questioned about any hesitation in fighting either opponent, Bivol dismissed the idea, emphasizing that he's open to facing anyone. It doesn't matter who it is.
Parsons did an interview with Turki Alalshikh, and in that he said that if Artur agrees, the trilogy will happen. Is that something that you're looking forward to, or is the Benavidez fight something that you want?
Well, it doesn't matter. Now I wanna rest. I wanna heal my body, and then I will wait offer. Doesn't matter what.
Amid all this, Eddie Hearn has revealed a possible date for the trilogy between Beterbiev and Bivol. While discussing Callum Smith's request to the WBO to be named a mandatory challenger, Hearn mentioned that negotiations for a fight with David Benavidez and others are ongoing. He went on to confirm that the Beterbiev versus Bivol trilogy is likely to take place in November.
Callum's lawyer, Sean O'Toole, STN, just wrote to the WBO and said, look, we're the interim world champion. We'd like to kind of force the mandatory, and they said, not yet. We are in negotiations with David Benavidez for that fight. We've been talking about the Anthony Yard fight as well, or a defence of that interim title against the top 15 in Liverpool. So Callum's got a lot of options. He'll be out probably September time.
And can we see the trilogy between Beterbiev and Bivol?
Yes, you'll see that. You'll probably November.
Sharing his reaction to the deal, Eddie pointed out that they already had an agreement with Turki Alalshikh and had given their word that if Dmitry Bivol won the rematch, a trilogy would follow. Calling it no surprise, Hearn emphasized that Turki has done an incredible job supporting Bivol and expressed his admiration for how smoothly the new deal is coming together.
Very straightforward. We have a contract, and more importantly, we gave our word that we will fight Beterbiev again. You know, His Excellency has done a tremendous job for Dmitry Bivol. We've had 4 fights in the kingdom. When we lost a very close fight against Artur Beterbiev, His Excellency went out and made the rematch when he didn't have to. And part of that deal was, if we win, there'll be a third fight for Artur Beterbiev. So I was very surprised at the speed of the order.
Furthermore, Eddie addressed the situation involving the earlier announcement of a potential fight between David Benavidez and Dmitry Bivol. He called the scenario very bizarre and criticized the WBO for releasing that information right after Benavidez's win over Morrell. Hearn clarified that Bivol's decision to pursue the trilogy is fully in line with the existing deal and emphasized that they would never go against that agreement.
Don't forget, Dmitry Bivol had only just won the WBC title. You always get grace as a champion. It wasn't like this was ordered way back and, you know, Benavidez has been waiting. He only just beat Morrell, and it's like, right, boom, negotiations, boom, purse bid, boom, telling people the public offer. I mean, when has there ever been a time where, you know, someone from the organisation is publicly telling about the offer that Dmitry Bivol would receive? It's quite bizarre, actually, and it's like trying to put pressure on him to take the fight. The money's nowhere near the money that he's going to make to fight Beterbiev, but it doesn't matter if the offer was 20 million. We have a contract, and we also have our word, which is our bond, which we don't ever go against.
Reacting to the entire situation, Ariel Helwani and Adeola Dipo also shared their thoughts. They discussed the controversy involving Mauricio Sulaiman ordering a WBO belt and charging the fee to Dmitry Bivol, something Adeola Dipo found absolutely hilarious and bizarre, adding another layer of drama to an already intense boxing storyline.
We are probably getting Bivol versus Beterbiev 3. What the hell is going on, and are you surprised that Bivol went this route?
Well, there's so many different ways to start this. I do want to start first with Mauricio Sulaiman talking about a fee for Dmitry Bivol. I've never ever heard a head of a governing body or a sanctioning body do that before. As you say, is he turning role of promoter? I mean, Mauricio Sulaiman, you're head of the WBC, you're not a promoter. So I find it awkward and weird that he would even mention the numbers. That's not really his role to do. So that surprises me. And obviously, look, he's upset. I get it. He wants Dmitry Bivol to fight for his belt against Benavidez. It's a big fight for the WBC, but I think he's kind of stepped out of line by doing that.
Speaking on the situation, Odd noted that he wasn't upset either way, whether it's a fight between Bivol and Benavidez or the trilogy between Bivol and Beterbiev. He emphasized that both matchups have huge potential, while he expressed a strong desire to see Bivol versus Benavidez. Since the Bivol-Beterbiev fight has already happened, he also acknowledged that the trilogy is necessary to truly determine who is the best between the two champions.
With regards to Bivol versus Benavidez or Bivol versus Beterbiev, I wasn't going to be mad either way it went. I would have liked to have seen Benavidez just because I've seen 24 rounds of Bivol Beterbiev, but I also would like to see a trilogy so I can really decide who is number one of this era. And I still feel like at one apiece, that's yet to be decided, so I'm not mad at a trilogy either.
Calling the Beterbiev versus Bivol about one of the greatest fights in the division, Eddie Hearn confirmed that plans for the trilogy are moving toward finalization. He emphasized that Bivol needs to stand by his word and expressed his enthusiasm about continuing to work with Turki Alalshikh, who he believes has already done an excellent job in creating major opportunities that have significantly boosted Bivol's career.
And we will be taking the third fight, and we will be fighting with His Excellency because he's given Dmitry the greatest opportunity. And by the way, in my opinion, and it's very difficult for Mauricio and the WBC because you're under a huge amount of pressure from all different parties pushing, and you know, it's very important that the greatest fights in the sport are allowed, and they supersede sometimes a mandatory obligation. For me, Bivol Beterbiev is the greatest fight in the division. We've seen two of the best fights I've ever seen. Why wouldn't you allow the third for Undisputed? But look, everybody's got their rules. We are where we are. We're talking now to Louis de Cubas about David Benavidez against Callum Smith. I think it's a tremendous fight. Callum Smith's the WBO interim champion. He's also mandatory. And I guess we'll make that fight, hopefully. And then we look forward to Bivol against Beterbiev 3.
Amid all this, Dmitry Bivol's manager, Vadim Kornilov, has also shared his thoughts on the trilogy. He acknowledged it as something not only the fans want, but also something that upholds the integrity of the boxing world. Kornilov noted that after two successful fights, regardless of any controversy surrounding the decisions, the demand for a third bout is undeniable. He confirmed that they are once again working with Turki Alalshikh to make it happen.
Not to give myself or any of us too much credit, but we're always about integrity. So to us, like it's kind of unquestionable, and I think to many fans and to people involved, that no matter what the decisions were, no matter what the judges saw, you know, the better BF side got the decision they got in the first fight. The second fight they agreed to do, they didn't have to do it. So from all you know, ethical, moral standpoint, the third fight has to happen, and it seems like that's what everybody's talking about, and it seems like that's what you know, Riyadh and His Excellency want. So that's what we're all looking towards, you know, and it's you know, it's kind of similar to like Golovkin, Canelo, you know.
Adding to this, Vadim emphasized that they are not approaching this like many others in the sport who constantly shift focus to new opponents after just one fight. Instead, their priority is firmly set on completing the trilogy. He highlighted this commitment as a reflection of true boxing integrity, something that brings order and purpose to the sport.
These are the type of fights that they're close, and you know, we're not gonna do what other fighters do and say, oh, you know, wait a little bit and then we're gonna have another fight and then we'll come back to this, because that's not really about integrity in my opinion. I think this trilogy has to figure out who the winner is within 3 fights being one after another.
Discussing the buzz around a potential fight between Benavidez and Bivol, Vadim Kornelov pointed out that Benavidez himself understands that their bout is something for the future. He also noted that Bivol won't be stepping into the ring again too soon, as he's just come off 4 consecutive fights and needs time to recover before taking on his next challenge.
It seems so, yeah. It seems so, because obviously it seems like that's like an obligation, but at the same time, you know, usually when there's a situation similar to this, it seems like if it was Canelo, for example, or another fighter, it seems like there's always respect for that type of situation, you know. And it seems, from what I read, you know, even from the Benavidez side, before the fight happened, I read, if I'm not mistaken, that Benavidez was okay with waiting. Like, he kind of understood that if Bivol was gonna win, then most likely there has to be a third fight, and it's just something that everybody respects, you know. And now, like, we're getting a lot of commotion with like, let's make this Benavidez fight now. To be honest with you, it's like Bivol's not even fighting now. It's like it's not even about better BF. Like, Bivol is not gonna fight within 90 days either way, because he just had 4 fights in a row within a 13-month period.
Furthermore, Vadim stated that they are aiming to arrange the trilogy fight by the end of summer. Aligning with Eddie Hearn's comments, he confirmed that the bout between Beterbiev and Bivol is likely to take place in either September or November. He also added that they are working closely with Frank and Eddie Hearn to finalize the details, and an official announcement will be made soon with all the possible information.
We're just not going to be able to do it before the end of the summer, and that's for sure. So that's our base point, and then what happens to all the other situations, I guess that kind of has to be worked out between everybody else. I mean, we can't really affect that.
So just one more in terms of like his next fight, in terms of a date. Listening to you speaking, obviously knowing Dimitri's going to want a bit of time off, would you say maybe October, November time is the ideal period you're trying to work towards for him to return?
Yeah, we're talking with Frank and Eddie and the guys, you know, our team from Sela and everybody else in the next couple of days to kind of discuss the dates a little bit further.
Meanwhile, Dmitry Bivol is wasting no time. He's already back in the gym, grinding harder than ever. With the trilogy fight looming, Bivol is sharpening every tool, pushing his limits, and preparing for the biggest chapter in his rivalry with Artur Beterbiev. The focus is fierce, the energy is intense, and the mission is clear: settle the score once and for all. While Turki Alalshikh awaits Artur Beterbiev's response to the offer, Beterbiev's coach, Mark Ramsey, has shared his thoughts on the situation. He stated that he is still waiting on Beterbiev's final decision, emphasizing that it's ultimately up to the fighter, as he's the one who will be stepping into the ring, not the coach. Ramsey added that ongoing discussions are taking place between him and Beterbiev regarding the potential trilogy.
Trilogy, we'll see. Like, we're gonna sit. It's easy for me to say yes or no, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one who's taking the punches and give the punches. I have to sit down with Arthur and see exactly what if he's still motivated, if he want to do it. If he want to do it, I will be on his side.
The road to the trilogy is heating up. Dmitry Bivol is locked in at the gym. Turki Alalshikh is pushing to seal the deal. And behind the scenes, Beterbiev's coach, Bivol's manager, and Eddie Hearn are all moving the pieces into place. Will Beterbiev accept the offer? Will this epic rivalry finally be settled in the ring? One thing's certain, this isn't just another fight, it's a legacy-defining moment. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates on boxing's most anticipated trilogy. We're just getting started.